Alright, hello folks. We got another propeller for master air screw. And this one's a 13x6. The one that's on it is a 12x6. I also got hopefully a much more accurate fish scale. That's digital, so it'll be easier to see. The only thing is it does have a locking mode where if it holds a certain weight, it'll lock. So I hope that won't be an issue because that could interfere with the data. You can also tear, but I'm going to see how much weight this thing takes to pull, and then you can cancel that out. So once it's moving, it takes about consistently a half a pound, maybe peaking at like 1.6 or even 1 pound if it gets kind of caught on something. But it's about 0.5 pounds to move. Alright, so we're going to be starting off testing the old propeller to get a benchmark of what this does, because with the new scale it might read higher or lower than the old one did. It needs to warm up, obviously. Okay. How was that? So you said about 8. So a 5.8?
Yeah, that's the max I saw.
Okay. And we got it on camera too. Okay. 5.8 is not bad. Alright, so for ease of working on this thing, I'll take these off. Oh boy, I don't want to break it. So I don't know if I showed, but I put a nylock nut on here because the other nuts kept coming loose, and this one definitely won't. It does mean it's more annoying to take off though. Alright, so here's our 12x6, and then we'll get out our 13x6. So it's 1 inch bigger in diameter, same prop pitch. Should give us a little more thrust, hopefully. I think it should be the sweet spot. Alright, so you can see the difference in size here. So it'd be a 1/2 inch different on the end of each blade, 1/2 inch bigger, I think. And it is thicker as well. You can see it's a little bit thicker. So yeah, it's also more of a satin finish. Alright, so they come with these little things, these little adapters. So this one, I think this. Okay, so this shaft fits over a 1/4-inch bolt pretty much perfectly. And then I find this one is also for 1/4 inch, although these are always a little bit on the tight side, usually. So to start by trying to thread this thing on, and it's not going to want to do so. Alright, so you get a start on there, and then you get a knot. Need this to go a little bit further. Then you get a knot behind it. And then what you do is you tighten this knot, and this will shave off some material on this collar to make it go on easier, because it'll force it across the threads without spinning it. So now we can put this on. Like that. Then we can put on our little adapter piece. So we're basically going to press this thing into the center like that. And then we'll take this nut off. And then we can put on our washer and then our nylock nut. And then at this point, it'll be ready to go. So, it is now installed, the new propeller, and looking good. So here goes test with the 13x6 propeller. Oh, that's why. Yeah, our propeller's slipping on here. It's not tightened enough. So we were only making like four pounds of thrust, and the propeller sounded funny. It was slipping. That's why. I didn't tighten it enough because the nylock nut is so tight that I thought it was bottomed out, but it wasn't, I guess. Alright, well I got it much tighter. Alright, starting. Alright, here we go.
I saw like 586.
But that's what we got for the last one. Well, according to Anthony, we saw about 5.8 with this one and about 5.8 with the other one. So no improvement, which is very strange. Although our RPMs definitely dropped from about 93 to about 85 or 86. About 93 down to 8600. Yeah, I don't know. At one point, I saw something close to like 6. I saw 6 something, but that was only momentarily. And that might have been just from a jerking or something. And I'm going to see if it runs, if it'll make more power if I lean it out a little bit more. The RPM is about 87. So I think that the 13, that one could be good. They're about equal, I guess, according to these tests we did. So we definitely don't want to go any bigger than that. Alright, so as you can see, we got quite a bit of data for both of our propellers. And I decided to kind of map it out and find the averages of both propellers. So for the 12x6, we did 4 runs, and they varied quite a bit. There's a lot of variability in the data, which is not ideal, but the average of all 4 of these test runs with the 12x6 was 5.2 pounds of thrust. And then I did an adjusted average, which adds 0.6 pounds to the total, because I calculate that it takes about a little over a half pound, about 0.6 pounds to get that cart moving. It has that much friction. So that brings the adjusted average up to about 5.8 pounds of thrust for the 12x6 propeller. And then I also did calculated for median, which is just another form of average basically, and that is 5.7, so a little bit lower, but basically the same. And then for the 13x6, we ran quite a few more tests, as you can see, a total of 9 runs, and the average for all those 9 runs was 5.5 pounds of thrust. The adjusted average, adding that same 0.6 pounds, is 6.1 pounds adjusted average, and then the median was 5.9, so a little bit less. But basically, you can see that the testing setup definitely wasn't perfect, but it does look like the 13x6 did make a little bit more thrust. It's not a huge difference, it really isn't, but it is a difference nonetheless. And so I think this is the propeller I'm going to stick with for now, unless I do performance upgrades to the engine and it can handle a bigger propeller. Yeah, I haven't made any more progress on this project yet, but now you will get to see a clip of it actually propelling itself on a little dirt track we have. Alright folks, so now we're going to show you what it does in the dirt. So this is the track and it's all nice and powder puffed. So it goes in dirt and you can see, we'll see if it'll move itself along. Oh, I did oil the air filter, so it won't be sucking in dirt as much. And the propeller might get dinged up a little bit. Hopefully not. It will get dirty. I already warmed it up. Alright, ready? That is crazy. Yeah, it definitely moves itself a little bit. Sorry you can't really hear me, but I was basically saying I weighed the whole thing and it weighs about 30 pounds. So that's quite a bit of weight for this little tiny engine to be moving. And so when I actually have the frame built, which won't be anytime soon, it should be way lighter than that. And so it probably will move pretty good. And it moves a lot of dirt. The propellers, they're dusty. There might be tiny little bits of dings on the leading edge, but nothing major at all. They're fine. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, well that'll be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.